Hello and welcome back to Planet Nibiru. As always, I'd like to thank all of our subscribers and viewers for watching and commenting on our videos and making our community possible. So thank you so much for all that you do. Today we will be discussing the predictions of Edgar Cayce and the pole shift. We have all heard of the stories floating around on the internet about the planet seeming to wobble, with the moon in the wrong place and the sun rising and setting in strange positions. These stories are becoming more and more commonplace. Just as the weather is becoming more and more unpredictable, with snowstorms and hot weather now happening within days of each other, we are left to wonder what is happening. Well, the answer may have been given to us years ago by a man nicknamed the Sleeping Prophet, Edgar Cayce. For those of you unfamiliar with Edgar Cayce, here's a bit of background. Edgar Cayce was an American Christian mystic who answered questions on subjects as varied as healing, reincarnation, wars, Atlantis, and future events while in a trance. A biographer gave him the nickname the Sleeping Prophet. A non-profit organization, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, was founded to facilitate the study of Cayce's work. A hospital and a university were also established in his name. Cayce became a celebrity toward the end of his life, and he believed the publicity given to his prophecies overshadowed the more noted parts of his work, such as psychic medical diagnoses and recommendations, as well as spiritual development. Skeptics challenge Cayce's alleged psychic abilities. Medical health experts are critical of Cayce's unorthodox treatments, which they regard as quackery. Some, however, consider him the true founder of the principal source of the most characteristic beliefs of the New Age movement. With the recent news reports from NASA researchers that the recent earthquake in Chile, which has shifted the Earth's axis and shortened the day, many people are wondering just what Edgar Cayce had to say about the possibility of a pole shift. When asked what great change or the beginning of what change, if any, is to take place in the Earth, Cayce answered, "When there is the shifting of the poles or a new cycle begins." Astronomers believe that the axis wobble, like a spinning top slowing, has been occurring for ages and causes the North Pole to point to different pole stars or north stars. How often this occurs is unclear. According to leading scientific teams at major research centers, axis shifts have only occurred every few million or even billion years, and take millions of years to be completed. According to other worthy sources, the wobble changes the pole star about every 24 to 26,000 years. In Hinduism, a full day and night in the Brahma equals roughly 24,000 years, a Kalikalpa. Cayce states that the ancient Egyptians knew of these shifts and that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built so as to point to the axis or pole star. Edgar Cayce gave a reading that spoke of a change in the pole star of Earth. He explained that the Great Pyramid of Giza represented the various ages we have been going through. He said at the correct time, accurate imagery lines can be drawn from the opening of the Great Pyramid to the second star in the Great Dipper, called Polaris, or the North Star. He must be using the word great as an adjective of importance because Polaris is in the Little Dipper. The North Pole of Earth's spinning axis points to a star considered the pole star. According to Edgar Cayce, we are about to see a change in our pole star, from Polaris to Vega. In ancient Egypt, the pole star was Thuban. This marks a move into a new era or a new age. Cayce said, "This indicates it is the system toward which the soul takes its flight after having completed its sojourn through the solar system. The Dipper is gradually changing, and when this change becomes noticeable, as might be calculated from the pyramid, there will be the beginning of the change in the races." He's speaking of root races, not color races. There will become a greater influx of souls from the Atlantean, Lemurian, La, or Da civilizations. He then explained that this pyramid was built in this manner by Ra and Hermes and many others who sought to bring to man a better understanding of the close relationship between the creative forces and that created, between man and his maker. He then cautioned us that only those who have been called may truly understand. Who then has been called? Whosoever will make him or herself a channel may be raised to a blessing. Let's examine the relationship of the entrance to the Great Pyramid and the shifting pole stars. You will see the three main pole stars for our little blue planet: Thuban, Polaris, and Vega. During the ancient age of Egypt, Thuban was the North Star, i.e., at midnight, above the North Pole, Thuban would have been the northernmost star. Of course, today, the North Star is Polaris. However, Vega will be the North Star in the future. But this would require our little blue planet to roll over dramatically. Viewing from the North Pole, the shift from Thuban to Polaris would have been about 26 degrees. The shift from Polaris to Vega would be about 51 degrees, a much more significant pole shift. If one draws an imaginary line from the entrance of the Great Pyramid on the spring equinox, which is about March 22nd to 25th, in 4000 plus BC, 2000 AD, and 10,000 AD, it points directly to the northern star each time, of each age: Thuban, Polaris, and Vega, respectively. Hermes, Ra, and all the others involved surely knew what they were doing when they built the magnificent monument. At the spring equinox during ancient Egyptian times, Thuban is the pole star of the pyramid. Since Polaris indicates the star system towards which the soul takes flight, could the change to Vega indicate a new flight pattern? Vega is a blue-white star and the fifth brightest star in the sky. It is in the constellation Lyra, the harp or lyre of the musician Orpheus. It was said that when Orpheus played this instrument, neither mortal nor god could turn away. Orpheus also introduced reincarnation into Greek mythology, a key concept in Cayce's teaching as well. Interestingly, Vega marks the approximate direction toward which our Sun and all its planets are traveling through space. At the spring equinox during our present time, Polaris is the pole star of the pyramid. Here's the hard news. In order to have shifted from Thuban as the pole star to Polaris, the Earth would have shifted its northern axis pole about 26 degrees. Not a drastic shift. However, in order to shift from Polaris to the pole star Vega, the Earth will have to shift its northern axis pole a whopping 51 degrees. But if this is done gradually over a very long period of time, then we should not be expecting a dramatic pole shift in the next few years. It's enough to know that the present age is ending and a new age is beginning. At the spring equinox of the future, Vega will be the pole star of the pyramid. As many of you know, Cayce said that during this new age, we will regain the powers that we had in our earliest incarnations in this world, during the age of Atlantis and Lemuria or Mu. This was prior to our souls becoming encased in matter as they are today, and back when we had godly powers to solve our material needs more easily. Of course, Cayce warned that we did not handle these powers well, leading to the destruction of these ancient lands. When asked what the New Age means to humanity, Edgar Cayce replied, "The full consciousness of the ability to communicate with the creative forces and be aware of the relationships to the creative forces and uses of the same in material environs. This awareness during the era or age in the age of Atlantis and Lemuria or Mu brought what? Destruction to man, and his beginning of the needs of the journey up through that selfishness." So to many, this was a warning from Cayce, that when we are once again in control of the true powers of man, we should stay away from the selfishness that brought us to war and destruction, and use those powers for good. I'd love to know what you think about all of this. So please get in the comment box and let us know if you think that Edgar Cayce was talking about a pole shift that happened overnight, or if he was talking about one that happened over thousands of years. Also, let us know what you think about what Edgar Cayce said about the relationship of man to the knowledge of the creative forces, and what we will be able to do once we are in control of these creative forces once again. As always, thank you for watching, subscribing, and commenting, and we'll see you again soon in another video.